Oh, that little oven mitt. Look, it's so sweet. Hey guys, welcome to my studio. I hope you're good. So today we are going to look at Miniverse. Now, I know we've done this a few times, but this one is a little bit different. A Make It Miniverse multi-pack. A Miniverse Make It Mini multi-pack, and this one is all about chocolate. Now, I absolutely love chocolate, but I have no idea what Hershey tastes like. I'm from the UK, and generally we get Cadbury's and Galaxy, and I mean, they are so good. I do love Cadbury's chocolate, but I do wonder what it tastes like. Obviously, this is not edible, so we're not going to be eating this. I may have to try and find an actual Hershey's chocolate bar. I can't even get A2 paper here. I have to order it off Amazon. I had to get this off Amazon too. But yeah, let's do it. Let's see what we get. I normally say let's see what we get inside. We don't need to take that today. So let's do it. Let's get opening and get looking at all these tasty things. Oh, I'm really excited about the mini marshmallows. I mean, they're so cute. Okay, so let's get this open. I'm gonna need my Miniverse. There we go, that's better. So let's take a look at everything that's in here. And I sped this up because, I'm opening a box. I tried to open this in a really aesthetic way. Didn't work. So this is what we've got. And yes, sorry about the state of the packaging as I go. But who cares when there's tiny, cute chocolate things to look at? I was really surprised at how many things were in this. Because, I think it was on sale when I brought it at the time. But yes, so in this packet, there are 5 different projects. But are we going to follow the instructions? Probably not. But these are the 2 that I'm really excited about. The hot chocolates and then pink hot chocolates or pink milkshake, I don't know. So I definitely say this would make an awesome birthday gift. It looks really fun, and as the box says, I am gonna remix my recipes and just kind of create what I want, and then I'm gonna have to draw it. So I need to keep that in mind as I go. But will I? Probably not. I haven't done any videos so far, so why would I do that now? Here are the instructions on how to make the 5 projects that are on the box. But this I'm going to use I'm going to take these instructions with a pinch of salt. And as I said before, I'm going to do what I want. But it is good to know how they would work and would combine. So I kind of know what I'm doing. But look how tiny these marshmallows are. They are so small. Does this set even come with little tweezer things? Does it? I don't know. But anyway, my point is that it's so cute. So now we open this chocolate bar, and I was expecting one big chocolate. Well, I say big chocolate bar. It's tiny. But it is actually in loads of little pieces that we need to cut out. And I'd kind of decided that I really wanted to do a fun flavoured chocolate bar. They are all the rage. I don't know, they're fire right now. Is that even what the kids say? I wanted to decorate a big chocolate bar, so I'm gonna have to use the bigger one, which is technically the tray, but there are no rules, so we're all good. It is perfectly reasonable to put a cupcake on top of a chocolate bar, surely? And if not, why hasn't anybody done that yet? I bet that would taste so good. I cannot believe that they even include a tub of cocoa powder. Isn't it the cutest thing ever? Okay, I'm going to use the word cute a lot. I'm sorry, I've used it a lot already. I apologise. Oh my goodness, sprinkles. These are going to be so small, and the jar even opens and you can pour out the sprinkles. Even the strawberries are tiny. I love it. I'm going to have to find a way to make this out of picture book art. So do I make a picture book about kind of the process and the steps of making this? Maybe I could do lots of spot illustrations or vignettes.
So these are where you get multiple illustrations per page as opposed to one big single page or a double page spread, which I do like to do on this channel, although they take so long. Yeah, let's get sketching. Let's see what ideas we can come up with and let's do it.
I find it really helpful to have kind of everything around me when I sketch, and that's probably one of the reasons why my desk is always a mess. Anyway, I generally start, especially when I'm talking about a picture book spread, by drawing out a picture book shape. Obviously, I've got to make sure where the gutter is because that is so important. So I always put that in with a line because you don't want the details to get lost in the gutter. Obviously, there's going to be some sort of detail overlap from one side to the other, especially when you're talking about a double page spread and the continuous artwork. This is an example of a previous book that I've illustrated called Papa and Pearl, with the details of the image either side of the gutter. So that's one way we could go. Or we could look about kind of obviously telling a story, which, I mean, you're doing anyway if you're drawing a picture book or an illustration, but is telling a story through the idea of spot illustrations and maybe like half a page spread, a single page. So you've got the 3 spot illustrations on the left, which are as they're described, kind of spots. And the other side is a single page, meaning that the gutter is where that artwork stops. So here's an example from a book that I've illustrated called Sparkella. And here you've got the 3 images, but they follow on kind of quite quickly. It definitely shows time passing, like you kind of want to set a pace for a story. And even though it's in 3 images, you find that the pace, it kind of speeds up the pace. You're trying to show the development of time and what happens quickly, really. This is all to do with the pacing of a picture book. And I mean, I will go into this in a lot more depth when I do a video on the whole designing a picture book thing. So my next idea was to focus on more of a recipe. I mean, I've wrote it at the top of the page for myself, so I remember. And I figured this could be more of a combination between words and pictures and smaller illustrations with a lot of a white background. Then my next idea was to definitely do something that was a double page spread and went across the pages and was more of a, I say mess, but an explosion of colour, of fun, lots of movement, basically lots of energy. So this then, I liked the idea but didn't like the sketch. So I sketched another one and I really wanted to do a picture that would go across the spread, but that would just slow everything down because I imagine if this were a real book, the pace of it would be quite fast. There would be a lot of spot illustrations like the top left scribble that I did earlier. And if that was the case, I would like a picture somewhere that slowed everything right down, that would make the reader stop and look at it, and also be like a colour change. So again, it would just slow down the pace of the book. So I like the idea of the close-up of a child eating a really fun, colourful, jazzy chocolate bar. And I figured this was a nice, simple idea that I could just kind of throw everything at, and yeah, I'm just going to wing it and see what happens. Even looking over all the kind of options, scribbles that I drew, I am most excited to draw that bottom left one. Because yeah, I think that's more me as an illustrator, because I do love using explosions of colour. Also, when looking at the other ones, I think the best way that I can show this mini-verse and all the little things that come in it is by doing a close-up illustration. So let's go and do it. But first, we're going to have to actually make something so I know what chocolate bar I'm drawing. I started by getting the base of my main chocolate bar, basically what was supposed to be the tray, ready, because I'm just going to add everything kind of on top of this and just have fun with it, especially where everything's so tiny and small. But I do need to make sure that you can kind of see the elements that are going into it, purely because I'm going to have to draw whatever it is I make, because the illustration itself is going to be based on this. So yeah, it was quite tricky. And I had to layer it up in the end because of obviously the UV resin. But where I wanted to pile it up high and kind of stack it and make the chocolate bar look really full, I had to do this in stages with the UV resin and kind of go put it outside and then come back. I do own a little UV lamp thing, but the weather's so nice, so I decided to go that way because, you know, make the most of it for once.
So now we've got our sketch. I'm so excited to start experimenting. I mean, I really wish this was real. Maybe I could make the real thing in the video, although how am I supposed to make that colour? Yeah. Anyway, let's do it. Let's get colouring, experimenting, and I'm just really going to have fun with this. This is such a fun video.
Once again, I thought it would be a great idea to do this piece mixed media, but I needed bigger paper, so I ordered this paper off Amazon because the mixed media paper I normally use is a lot more textured. It's this one by Winsor & Newton. I'll pop that there. But yeah, I was really surprised with this. This is a lot smoother, so I'm excited to see how it takes the paints. But for now, here we are with all the sketch options, which I know which one I'm going to do. And here's the little MINIVERSE mini chocolate bar thing that we made. And as you can see, it has got quite a lot of details. I really do like the combination of the colours. I mean, I may change one slightly just so it's got a really nice colour palette. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of using golds here, like the peanut butter cup bases and silvers, just because, I don't know. Actually, maybe I should make a video on that. Let me know if you want to see that. But yeah, I also made this Hershey's chocolate thing and this other one because I could. And I think it's cute. I'm not going to use these in the video. Oh, and my son made this one because he wanted to get involved as well. Obviously, I did all the resin stuff. So I have to admit that one of my absolute favourite parts about mixed media is the new art materials. Now, I discovered this So Flat acrylic by Golden. I saw this in a Chloe Rose art video. She's awesome. And I'd never heard of this before, so I had to get my hands on it. And where it was the perfect I call it a Cadbury's purple, but for me, when someone says chocolate, I don't know if it's just, let's face it, it's because I'm in the UK, but when someone says chocolate to me, I actually think of this lovely royal purple. And these are just all the experiments that I'm going to do, ready for when it comes to finishing the artwork off and cutting everything out. This is where I'm going to cut from. And this bit I find so therapeutic because you're not kind of making the art, but you can just be expressive and you look at the colours. So what if you're not going to use it all? It's just fun to make and I can keep it for another video. And I relocated to the kitchen table and my daughter was colouring as well. So this was just so fun for everybody. I find this way of working really freeing because you're not so focused on the final piece at the moment and you're just seeing what these materials can do, seeing if you enjoy them. Yeah, I would highly recommend mixed media if you're ever kind of in a funk or an artist block, because you can just experiment with no pressure and it really makes a difference if you make mistakes. So it's really fun and freeing. And then it comes to actually making the artwork and yeah, getting a bit more finessed. I don't know. Anyway, I painted a face. So this was always going to be painted straight onto the mixed media paper because, I don't know, for me, I like doing the base like this. I like working quite traditionally and working over the top of it in pencils and then introducing all my mixed media things. So it's like the base of the artwork is done. Sometimes I'll do this with the background and I might even do the face digitally, but this is what I decided to do here. I will always tend to work on the colours and on the bits I'm going to cut out separately because I find it so much easier. And oh my god, I got my new Caran d'Ache Neo colour pencil out to use and it had broken in the post. So that was fun, but still usable, still fine. It's just, again, perks of living on the Isle of Wight. Anyway, as I started cutting everything out and getting prepped, ready to stick everything down and get this piece finished, I realised, well, I didn't realise, I decided that it would be a good idea to actually paint the chocolate bar first. Now, it's actually harder than you think to paint the chocolate bar, especially because the light hits it in all different ways. So I tried my best, and it was a good excuse to use my new watercolours. I did enjoy it, and I love how pigmented these were. The paper really held up really well for mixed media paper just because it was nice and thick, and I was layering up this watercolour. I was a bit worried at one point, but no, it held up really well. It didn't go through, it didn't rip. So yeah, I would highly recommend this paper and use it again. And once the chocolate bar was done, it meant I could put all the bits on it and start cutting out all the little details and just planning out the composition a bit more. As I did this, I realised even more things that I'd forgotten to paint, so I do go back and do a little bit of painting. But I had originally planned to collage the top, but I just didn't like how it was coming out. Now, this is another reason why collage is fun, because you can just change your mind. So I decided to paint this all one flat colour of yellow and then add stripes on top because there was a lot of busy detail that was going to be on the chocolate bar. I just wanted all my focus on that, and I used these green stripes, decided I didn't like them. So I tried every single other colour that I could think of over the yellow. I mean, the blue was okay, and then when I used the orange, it kind of fitted a lot better. I mean, there technically was orange on the MINIVERSE thing anyway, so I just went with it, but it did mean I needed to get my orange out, paint all the prep stuff again, and wait for it to dry. But I was much happier with the orange stripes, and I even added this little star to her hair tie because I wanted to bring the orange just around the image a bit more. And my desk is a complete mess by this point. And actually, you can kind of see it here anyway. But now I'm onto the hair, which I always do on a separate paper, and then kind of fit it on after. I find this so helpful where I like to use the textured paper and not just the normal textured mixed media paper that I use. I actually use textured watercolour paper for this, just because it does add even more texture, which I really do like for the hair. So as you can see, it obviously picks up the grain of the pencil. And now this little white kind of template I did use of layout paper just because it is actually really hard to draw the hair separately and then fit it onto the character. So many times it's too small or too big. This way I can ensure, it's tracing paper really, so I basically use that. But it just saves so much time and so much backward and forwarding. Obviously, you can make small adjustments like I did here on this kind of ponytail bit, pigtails, ponytails, whatever you call them. But yeah, it just makes it so much easier. Then I realised it was time that I had to brush all the little bits of cutouts to the side because I had to add the texture and the details onto the chocolate bar so I could then decorate it again and stick it down as I go this time. It took a long time. Once all the base colouring was done and just before I did stick it down, I did go back in and add some more cutouts onto the chocolate bar just to give it a bit more dimension and a bit more interest. Yes, this chocolate bar is going to be the busiest part of the image and I've designed it that way. It is going to be an explosion of fun and colour, and yeah, here I am just trying out all the different bits because this is going to be their final position. I am gluing this down as I go, so yeah, I won't be able to move anything soon, so I just want to make sure it's all in the right place. I then added in the coloured bits, the little marshmallows. I love doing these, and those Hershey kisses. Like, I've never tried those. I'd never even heard of them until I made this video. So yeah, I wonder if you can get them anywhere. But this bit was all about finishing all the little touches, making sure I had all the bits on that I wanted. And yeah, it was very sticky. There was a lot of glue everywhere by this point. And no matter how neat you are with Pritt Stick, it always gets covered, like everything, like the side of the glue. But yeah, and the tweezers. But I did enjoy it. It was so much fun. I then took the whole picture into digital and made sure to try and photograph it as best I can. This is very tricky, but some of the colours weren't 100% true to the way that I'd painted them, but I just adjusted them on Procreate. This was so much easier than going back, trying to make the lighting perfect, because I did the best I could. I mean, I really wish I had like an A2 scan. Yeah, this was A2. Was it A2? Yes. This was A2, so I really need like a way to scan A2. If you know it without a giant scanner, please let me know. But yeah, then I went back in and worked over the bits that I wasn't 100% happy about, just to make sure that that chocolate colour was really rich and I was happy with it. And the strawberries popped. Now, okay, I know these strawberries are on the pink side. I'm just waiting for the comments saying strawberries are red, but you know, illustration, artistic license, and I didn't want to add in another colour and bring the red back in, because I do love a limited colour palette, just because then I find it brings the whole thing together. So yeah, I think adding the seeds really did make it look more like strawberries, and yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm just going to go with it. So they're my kind of strawberries, okay? Then it was time for finishing touches and adding anything in that I thought was missing, and adding just those digital touches with the shading. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this part of the process. It was very calming and it just finished off everything. And I really tried to highlight the fact that this was cutting and sticking. This was all cut out, so I just emphasised some of the shadow around the paper. And yeah, just did the finishing touches really until it was finished, which that is what finishing touches are. Anyway, I hope you like it.
Thank you so much for watching. I cannot believe what we came up with. I mean, we turned this into an illustration. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable, but it's been so much fun. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. It just goes to show you really can find inspiration anywhere. I mean, to be fair, Miniverse is quite inspiring, but I love drawing things that you necessarily wouldn't think of, and also in everyday life, because that is definitely something I would put in a children's book portfolio and agents are probably looking for. I would love to do a video about making an illustration portfolio and kind of putting everything together and how I got represented. So yeah, if you want to see that, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Monday morning, going great. And I'm going to be interrupted. Yes.
And a really cute little dog.
We're not getting a dog.
Hey, look, they're not supposed to buy a little puppy toy one.
Oh, thank God.
And you drew it.
Oh, that's so cute.
How cool is that?
Oh, that's adorable. Yeah, you might as well look at it because you're here. Why is it sideways? Oh, I love it. I think I definitely need to compare Hershey's chocolate with Cadbury's chocolate for the interest of science.